The gene keys are all about attuning to a world that you can't see with your eyes or hear with your ears. It's about connecting to a spiritual dimension, getting to the higher three bodies. So we talk about physical, emotional, and mental bodies, which are the things that we have connection to through our five senses, the things that people see as the real world on this plane of reality. And then we get into the three higher bodies, the causal body, the buddhic body, and the atmic body. And the causal body is really just another term for our soul. It's the thing that continues to reincarnate and continues to come back so that we can continue to refine our being and get closer and closer to reuniting with the divine. The Buddhic body is our connection to all beings, all things, everything that is conscious in the ways that we think about it and the ways that we don't. Again, the ways that are beyond our five senses. And then the Atmic body is essentially our connection directly to the divine. And the path through the gene keys is the path of refining our awareness so that we are more in tune and more aligned with those three higher bodies than we are with our three quote unquote lower bodies. And lower doesn't mean bad. Remember, desire, nature, our animal being is a part of who we are. I'm reading a book right now by C.S. Lewis called The Screw Tape Letters, which I've always wanted to read and haven't gotten that far yet. But I'm on the 6th or 7th chapter, and it's so interesting. It's a book that is written between an uncle and his nephew, and they are demons or people that are doing the devil's work. And it talks about the ways that they manipulate us and grab our attention. And it's just so clear that there's so much happening behind the scenes. There's so much more to the world that we can't see. And the gene keys teach us to trust in that, to know that there's more there, that there is more information. Call it intuition, call it spirituality, call it guidance, call it spirit guides, it doesn't matter. They're all pointing to the exact same thing. And the Gene Keys just released a new course. And I'm going to circle back on that because I want you to do it. I'm doing it right now too. I think it was available before. It's called the Jaguar's Journey, but they just redid it and it's totally free. So why not do it along with me? But I found it really interesting that it was about noticing and seeing symbols that are the divine trying to communicate with us in your regular life. Because I was reading that book and that idea came up, Screw Tape Letters, and I was watching a YouTube video today by a guy named Blake LaGrange, who I'm quickly becoming obsessed with. And in that video, he was talking about how to create change in the world. And this is a guy that built an online company, sold it or exited for $7 million, invested in a platform called School, and is just doing really well on this plane. And he's got a deep connection to God, and his path is through Christianity. I think that is a great path for some people, and other people are immediately going to be turned off by it. I personally believe in the tenets and teachings of Christianity, but I wouldn't consider myself a Christian. I didn't grow up in the church. My last name is very Jewish because my dad was Jewish. And so nonetheless, the message that he was trying to get across was that in order to create change in the world, we've got to see things differently. And he talks about 3 different ways to make change. And the first is through politics, or a top-down approach. So voting people into office, putting your faith in a hierarchy, putting your faith in a democracy, in a vote, in a president. For example, the disciples in the Bible kept asking Christ if he was going to be essentially the president of the holy state of Israel. And God's response to that was, I'm not here to change politics. I'm here to change you. So that's sort of the top-down approach. And then he talks about a grassroots approach. And this is influencing the people that are directly in your life. So talking to your coworkers, talking to your friends, to your family about worldly things, right? About achieving those goals, about X, Y, and Z new biohacking thing. And we go about trying to create change, sometimes even from the bottom up, in a way that is solely utilizing those three lower bodies, pretending like there's not something else at play. But the real way to create change is seeing with the eyes of the heart, which I just love that language. Apparently, Blake quoted it directly from the Bible, and I'm reading the Bible this year. I committed to reading it cover to cover. I've never done that before, but it informs so much of what we do and who we are that I really wanted to check it out. And seeing with the eyes of the heart is about the same thing that the Gene Keys try to teach us. It's about a spiritual revolution. It's about spiritual evolution and involution. Seeing things in a way that other people don't see them because you are open to the miraculous. You're open to innocence. You're open to truth and to love. And you understand that you can't understand those things. At least not logically. You can feel them, you can know them, but you can't reason them. And somebody that sees with the eyes of the heart, somebody that attunes to the spiritual world, to put it more in Gene Key's language, your job then is to witness the people that are in your life and to see the suffering that they have and to see that they are blind to some things. And it's not to dangle that in front of their face. It's not to change their mind. The worst thing you can do to try and change someone's mind is tell them that they're wrong or that they're missing something. Your only job is to see that thing for them and then share it with them. And you can't control if they believe you, if they accept it, and that doesn't really matter. Again, that's not your focus. Your only job as the one that is attuned spiritually is to notice the thing and then say it. And it is our word, the things that we say, that drives the creation and the manifestation of things on this plane of reality. There's something with consciousness about speaking or about the word that takes it from a place of chaos and brings something into a place of order. It makes it real. Of all the different potential possibilities, we pick something out, we describe it, and then we create it. And so you use your words to help nudge somebody, to help them see something with spiritual eyes. And in doing that, you create a miracle. You create a change in somebody's life that wasn't a potential reality for them without you speaking the words that you spoke. And that is how we create change on the physical plane. It is about tapping into these higher bodies, these higher dimensions, these higher realms. We're constantly getting knocks at the door if only we would pay attention. And that is what this Gene Keys course was about. Synchronicity after synchronicity is the reason I'm sitting in front of this camera right now. And it's because I have developed spiritual eyes. I'm open to seeing things in a fun, innocent, miraculous, playful way. Like, we have a choice. Do you want to see things that way? Or do you want to be a part of the real world where life is serious and we've got to drudge away at work and worry about the bills and all of these things? And yes, we have responsibilities and we have to get things done. And it's important to do something useful and purposeful in the world. And you get to play and do that at the same time if you choose this other way of seeing things. And so this Gene Keys course that came up is a sort of beginner course for the dream arc, which I've never done the dream arc before, but I know a little bit about it. It's all about using animals as messengers in your world. So noticing them as signs and symbols, and each one corresponds to a different meaning and a different thing. And in this little mini course, I've only done the first location, this is designed to be like a 10-day thing, give or take. And there you go from the jungle to the mountains to the sea, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what all of them are, but you go from location to location. And in each of these different habitats, you choose a different animal messenger. And then your job is to notice that animal messenger in your life, because that's how this Gene Keys wisdom works. It's the same with a Gene Key or the same with a sphere. If you contemplate it, you will see that thing playing out in your life. And that gives you the opportunity to change your frequency around that idea. That's how we move from the shadow to the gift to the city. It's by raising our awareness around a given thing. And that's how we tap into these higher bodies. It's just about training your attention, training your awareness. It's the classic example that people use about buying a new car, and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. If you buy a new white Tesla and you thought there's not that many white Teslas on the road, and then you get out on the road and it seems like you see a white Tesla every 2 minutes. Is that because all of a sudden there's a million more white Teslas on the street? Of course not. It's just that's what you have attuned your awareness to. And that's the name of the game with this Jaguar's Journey course. It's, can we start to train our spiritual eyes, our eyes of our heart? And once we start to notice it in something like this, something like a course, it's a muscle. And you're going to notice it again and again, and not just this one thing, but you're going to start to open to those higher bodies. You're going to start to feel the connectedness of things. You're going to start to feel stuff in your body that you didn't know was there before, that's outside of our five senses. And eventually you'll see that our five senses are really just a distraction. They're an illusion from what actually matters. And that's why trying to change the world from this world doesn't work, because we're using our senses. We're regurgitating the information we hear. We're trying to recreate something that we see, and that's not original. That's not genius, and that's not going to get the world to change. The only way you're going to change the world is through spirituality. It's through seeing things in your life, seeing synchronicities, trusting in them, trusting in your gut. And you can use whatever word you want here that's for the thing that's putting these in front of you. Could be God, could be Jesus, could be the universe, could be the light, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter, at least not to me. What matters is that you're paying attention. And so the first module in this course is the jungle, and you're going to pick one of 3 animals. There is a snake animal, a mammal animal, and a bird animal. And I won't spoil it and what the actual animals are. I won't tell you what I picked either, but I want to know what you picked. So if you get this far in this video, let me know which of those animals you chose to work with. And let's see what happens when we look at the world through the eyes of our heart, when we get attuned to the spiritual, because that is the journey of the gene keys. Because when you are attuned to the spiritual, something beautiful happens. You stop worrying so much. The fear starts to go away. You start to trust. And that trust is what allows you to play. It's what allows you to return back to innocence, to be born again. All right, I feel like I'm a preacher now. I feel like when I get in that place, it's time to stop. Thank you guys for being here. Until next time.